Failure means so many different things to so many different people. I have a very strong opinion that failure is not just a cost of doing good business. If you want to grow, if you want to, whatever it is, um, it's not just a cost of doing business, it's a requirement. You have to fail um, if you want anything to be done worthwhile. Risk is not something that you should mitigate at all costs. You should take risks, understand the risks, understand the downside and the upside, make calculated bets, but you have to take bets. Otherwise, your business will stay stagnant, if not decline. Yeah, pretty strong belief on that one.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Great response, and you learn so much from it because, like you mentioned at the beginning, whatever got you here is not going to get you to the next day. Well, hello there once again. This is the Today's Business Leaders podcast, and I am your host, Monika Alvarez. And yes, indeed, we have a great, great guest that we want to introduce to you to, again, share the journey of what it is to be an entrepreneurial, the inspiration, and so we can continue adding value to this wonderful platform. And remember to subscribe to our channel and most importantly, to share the channel. So with us, we have Michael Jacobson, CEO of French Florist. Michael, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Monica. Excited to share some fun stories with you. Appreciate it.
Beautiful. Yes, indeed. This platform is for leaders like yourself, Michael, to continue sharing, inspiring, and most importantly, grow this community, which again, adding the value, that's not the whole purpose. So let's start with that. Let's start. What brings you to being an entrepreneur? Where did that all started?
Yeah, I think it's a question that's totally spot on. And a lot of people, they feel the passion, the fire in their belly to want to be their own boss, to run their own business. I'm sure a lot of listeners already do that. If not, they are looking to make the leap to go and do that. I think asking yourself why. Why do you have that fire in your belly? Why do you want to be your own boss and go in one layer deep? I think so. Anyways, great question. I think that it's for me, it's less of a romantic answer, but it's the truth is I started to do a lot of stuff where I wasn't passionate about it. I took a job right after I graduated college. It was in corporate consulting. It was, hopefully I can say this. It's not too controversial, but realistically, it was a bunch of old white guys in suits, and it was in the room under fluorescent lighting and shaved every day. I had to put on a suit, right? And it was I loved the work, as you can tell, right? No, it really it didn't feed that fire in my belly. And so I didn't know why exactly I wanted to go and do something more entrepreneurial, but I knew that I didn't want to have my ladder leaned against, some big corporate job it felt really soulless. Um, Later, I did some kind of soul searching and really fell in love with the idea of living a life of service. I think a lot of fulfillment comes from giving. It's in giving that we receive. There's some old words of wisdom that are obviously not my own, but I love business, right? And so there was like, is there a conflict with that? I love business, I love entrepreneurship for whatever reason, and so trying to find the ways where I could combine those two, finding the ways where we could combine putting something out there in the world that we think the world wants and needs, solving real problems, creating real value, and doing that through entrepreneurship. That is something that really fired me up. And I just had my ear to the ground for different opportunities. I was working corporate consulting. My uncle called me and he said, I want to sell my flower shop. I've been running it for 38 years. I'm not making much money. Uh, and it's time. It's time to give up kind of the flower shop. And so I said, sure. My background's in finance originally. And so long story short, came in to help him sell his business. 6 years later, I still am in the business. I took over the business from him, and really, there's just so much pain and so much opportunity. And the client experience when purchasing flowers isn't what it could or should be in the United States, at least not yet. And so that's what we're looking to solve. We want to ultimately put more flowers into the world. We think flowers are beautiful, beautiful things, more than people might even realize today. And So that's our mission, and I'm happy to deep dive a lot more into that. But that's our why. Our company why. I'll kind of start with the end. Our company why is to create a more loving world, and we think
Mm.
flowers are the most powerful gift that somebody can give to express love. When you're giving flowers, you're saying, "I'm thinking about you. I miss you. I care about you. I love you."
Mm.
And love is the most powerful human emotion that exists. And that's the industry that we get to work in. That's awesome. So we're finding that cross section between creating a more loving world and doing that through entrepreneurship. And it's been nothing but incredible. Not to say that there ups and downs, but it's been a fantastic journey so far.
That is such a lovely opening, Michael. You really put the bar of this conversation very high. You're right. If you find like something tied, like something as powerful as love to tie it into your business, imagine like you mentioned, receiving flowers and giving flowers is like a very beautiful spirit, a very beautiful energy that you're putting out there. So this is amazing. This is truly amazing. And most importantly, how you were able to find a bigger purpose than just running a business. I think that's the most powerful part of this
It
story.
definitely
So,
gets us
how
through
was
the
the
hard times.
transition? Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, how was the transition between your uncle, I mean, him running it for so long, to
Yeah.
you coming in with all these bright new ideas, new
Yeah.
energy, new focus, new perspectives? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting. I mean, I think the romantic idea out there is to start your own business from scratch, really like entrepreneurship from 0 to 1. It's very difficult. I approached it as a slightly different way where I obviously came into an existing business, right? There's existing operating procedures, there's bones to the business that have been there long before my time. And so I think if you're coming into a situation where you're acquiring a business or stepping into something that's pre-existing, the first step is to learn, to be humble, right? As much as possible. And there are people who are smarter than you, or at least know a lot more than you do
Mhm.
about that business, right? You might think that you have some great ideas, but um, spending 95% of the time listening to the folks that were the experts in the business for the first kind of 3, 4 months, which sounds like a long amount of time, was really critical for understanding what was going well, what was not going well. And then once I felt like I had enough information, really working, especially in the beginning stages, with my uncle, who was, obviously running the business for a long time, but also some of the other employees that have been with the company, and saying, hey, like, what if you were to, you had a magic wand, you can make anything better, what would it be? They allowed the craziest and best ideas sometimes come from the most unsuspecting places. Like I, I certainly think that I contribute great ideas to the company, but the reality is most of the decisions that we've made in the company have come from folks other than myself. And
Mm.
I'm really the channel and happen to, have the privilege of sitting in the seat that helps people make those ideas come to life. But all of that comes from listening and understanding where there's pain, and where there's pain, there's opportunity, right?
Sure.
Once we solve all of those pain points, make people's jobs a little bit easier through better technology, maybe increasing wages, give people a higher standard of living, increase a better supply chain in our marketing and branding, the better client experience, so clients have a better experience with us. Okay, those are all pains. We've solved, a lot of those. We're still working on leveling that up further. Once everything is really solid, we're running an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 company. We're not going to become complacent with that. We're going to go and continue to push the limits. How can we make this experience an 11 out of 10? And that's where innovation comes in. So that was the thought process, but it's really like one foot in front of the next. Like really in the beginning, it's okay, we can't we can't create an 11 out of 10 experience overnight. We have to first identify where are things not a 10 out of 10, fix those, and then we can scale, and then we can innovate. So yeah, the beginning was a lot of listening, and
Mm.
it really helps paint a picture on the systemic issues that were happening, not just in this flower shop, but in almost, if not all, flower shops. And honestly, that's what got me really excited too, where it's like, hey, this is if we can solve this problem, this is a problem not that we're not facing this problem. Everybody's facing this
Mm.
problem. So by solving those issues, it's really allowed us for our company to do well. But now we're expanding with a nationwide franchise model to go and help other florists do better. And folks that are looking to get into entrepreneurship can partner with us from a franchising perspective and open up a French florist, and we can give them all of the ammunition and infrastructure that we have found that's really helped for us, and but they get to be their own boss. And so our kind of words are, you for the franchise side, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself.
Mhm.
So that's what kind of where we were, where we are now, and what we are looking to do moving forward too.
Amazing, amazing, and most importantly, that initiative that you're having, bringing other people on board as well to start have their own business. I think that is very powerful. Most importantly, you mentioned something very key, Michael. We need to be followers before we can be leaders. So I think that transition with you, like,
Yeah.
and you have to follow as much as possible, like you said, someone that already went through the journey, knows the path. And yes, they can have their own struggles and their own challenges and everything, but they already know what's working and what's not working.
Yeah,
So by you
1,000%.
coming in and just looking at what is working and then taking over. But tell us more about that. How do you run now your team? I mean, this amazing team that you have. How do you go by planning all that and communicating that right message for your team to execute?
Yeah, definitely. So it's changed a lot through the years. Um, I think anytime if you're looking to grow your business in a very, very substantial way, what got you here won't get you there.
Mm.
We went from doing, under 500,000 in revenue to, uh, 1 point something, doubled revenue, right? We were a different company after we doubled revenue. We had to do things differently. We went from one to two, two to four, four to nine, and it kept going. Every time we've doubled revenue, my leadership style has definitely had to change. How we run the business today, um, my role has shifted into really focusing on hiring people that are a lot smarter than I am,
Mm.
uh, particularly in their areas of genius. So if we're hiring somebody in the operations field, uh, we need somebody who can, like, I pride myself in being able to do almost every job, and I don't expect people to necessarily work harder than I do. Um, I have at least a baseline understanding of every single role in the company, and I've done it hands-on. Uh, but my role is hiring people that can do it a lot better than I can, and letting those people run their teams, do their job, have a lot of autonomy. Tell them the end result that we're looking to create, and they're going to make decisions super differently than I might. But at the end of the day, if they're achieving results, maybe even doing it in a way better than I would, I think that's great. So, a lot of my job has shifted into hiring great talent and making sure that they have the tools and resources, whether it's financial resources or otherwise, to make sure they're set up for success. So, it's been great. I started out by doing all like, look, I was a delivery driver. Uh, uh, I never was a designer. I definitely tried my hand at design, but that's the one job in the company where it blows my mind how talented our designers are, and we let them do that magical work. I make sure they have the tools that they need, but we let them stick to their zone of genius. But I've been a shop assistant. I've managed retail stores, right? And we do the marketing. We've done software development and technology, but at this point, it's shifted in terms of bringing in people that can do it even better than I can. So,
Sure.
but it takes time to do that. I think that it is important for that I did the job, and um, as I learned to do them better and better, the financials of the company did better and better. But we took those resources as the company did better and reinvested them into our team, into our people. So that's where we are today.
Excellent, excellent. I love that leadership style, and yes, I think a lot of the leaders that come here and we interview have that mindset, that you have to rely on people that are more sharper or even have other skills that perhaps you as a leader
Yeah,
don't at the moment have.
yeah,
But
totally.
I
Yeah,
guess another very important piece that I've seen in a lot of the leaders that we've interviewed here in the podcast, Michael, is how they've learned so much from failure or mistakes.
Hmm.
How do you come across, how do you overcome that? And because at the end of the day, there are opportunities for growth. I know that, but tell us what's your perspective on that point.
Yeah, I love that question. Failure means so many different things to so many different people. I have a very strong opinion that failure is not just a cost of doing good business. If you want to grow, if you want to, whatever it is, um, it's not just a cost of doing business, it's a requirement. You have to fail um, if you want anything to be done worthwhile. Risk is not something that you should mitigate at all costs. You should take risks, understand the risks, understand the downside and the upside, make calculated bets, but you have to take bets. Otherwise, your business will stay stagnant, if not decline. Yeah, pretty strong belief on that one.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Great response, and you learn so much from it because, like you mentioned at the beginning, whatever got you here is not going to get you to the next day. So tell us about more like how you prepare on a daily, weekly basis, and what is the vision that you have? How important for you is it to be connected with that vision? Because I know all strong
Yeah.
leaders like yourself have that and have that in common. Share a little bit about that.
Yeah, totally. I think, we began the conversation of talking a little bit about our why, and I think it's super important, particularly for the owner or leader of the company, to be extremely connected to the vision and the culture that they want to foster in their company. I think that kind of what I said earlier too, it gets you through the hard times, but also it just creates alignment for the rest of the company as well. I think that if the vision and culture is not something that's defined, the company will create its own vision or culture, and probably 99 times out of 100, it's going to be something different than what you want or what you think. So you may as well take the time to understand, why does your company exist? What is its purpose? I don't think there's a wrong answer for it, but I think it does need to be defined. Um, for us, this is something that we spend an extraordinary amount of time communicating to every single person in the organization, including down to our delivery drivers, who are the face of our company, right? A delivery driver is providing the flowers, especially when they're getting delivered to a recipient. They knock on the door. If somebody's ordering flowers online, the delivery driver is the only in-person experience that our clients or the recipients have with our company. Extraordinarily important job. So whereas some people might see the delivery driver as somebody who is one of the lower paid positions in the company, it's just going through the motions of like technically or operationally have to get the job done. It's a required piece of the business. Like, no, no, no. This is a critical function of the company that should not be overlooked and neglected at any cost. This is the only client-facing interaction, right? It's a very important piece. So communicating to literally every level, not just the leadership level or the management level, but every single level of that vision has been really important for us. I think that to more tactically, give you an understanding of how much we've thought about it, we challenge the norm a lot. I think that one example of that is, I'll say some things that create a little bit of tension, and I think that tension is like where interesting things happen, right? Where I could say Americans don't appreciate flowers enough, and I think some people would agree with that, some people might not. But when you even if you look at our name, it's French Florist. We're an American brand, but our name is French Florist. How does that make sense, right? Um, we really think that the European and specifically the French way of living, they don't view flowers as a luxury. They view flowers as a way of life. Americans buy flowers, if you look at why, for happy birthday, happy anniversary, congratulations, maybe even for something sad like a funeral, but it's a very occasion-based purchase, and we view it as a luxury. I think there's a statistic out there where Americans only buy flowers around 2.2 times per year. Europeans buy up to 10 times that amount. So the
Wow.
frequency of purchase, yeah, they go home on the way home from work and stop by the
Hmm.
bodega. And we think that we've already covered flowers represent love. We don't view love as a luxury. Flowers are the single best representation uh, of love, and a reminder that like can be beautiful, and everybody deserves to have that feeling. So I'm not saying that you have to buy from us. I'm not saying you have to even buy flowers at all. You can pick flowers off of the side of the road. But we think that people need more flowers in their life because they are incredibly powerful, more than people know. And so when I say that Americans don't appreciate flowers enough, it's not, I'm American too, so hopefully I can say that. It's not a dig at Americans. There's an opportunity to create an awareness and education and inspiration and motivation for people to buy more flowers and have uh, some additional love, some additional more meaning in their life. Flowers are a very powerful vehicle, and we view it as our job to inspire and educate and motivate people to resurface that understanding. I don't think that we need to change people's minds about how special flowers are. I think we just need to remind them because maybe we've lost our way a little bit.
Yes, indeed. That is a strong statement, but you're right. When you go to particularly France, you're right. You see florist shops all over the place, and like you mentioned, they get off for work and they just buy. And the symbolic motion that it represents for individuals by receiving or giving flowers, I think that is beautiful. So congratulations on that. So tell us a little bit about how you stay focused on, like you mentioned here in America, how do you position your brand with so many distractions, social
Yeah.
media, so many, things out there? How do you differentiate yourself from all that, and how does that keep you focused on the brand?
Yeah, I think this the most interesting question that I love that question. I think everything you've asked, but this one's my favorite question so far. I think a lot of companies have a tendency to say, and we're guilty of this historically as well. But a lot of companies have the tendency to say, we have the highest quality product. We provide the best customer service. We provide the greatest client experience, right? Um, like, even if you do all of those things, it's not really your place to say that. It's the marketplace gets to determine those things. We get to put a product or service out into the world, and we develop a reputation for having the highest quality or having the best customer experience by the marketplace. It's their determination, not ours. So understand that we're not in control of how successful we are, or what accolades we win, what adjectives people use to describe our company. The marketplace decides those things. Um, and beyond that, even we have the best quality, we have the best service. It's like I've heard that before. It's super boring, and any company that does say it, honestly, I don't even really believe it. Okay, so where does that leave us? It's not to say you shouldn't have the best quality or best service. You should. You should have those things. That's what makes a good company good. But I think that if you want to make that leap, to use somebody else's words, right, from good to great, if you want to go to great, you have to put all of that aside. You have to have all of those things. But that's table stakes. So if that's where you start, if that's the prerequisite to be a good company, then how do you position yourself as a brand? Where you go from there is you have to tap into the emotional side of things. For us, uh, we are so passionate about flowers and what they represent that I think the consumer can feel how passionate we are, and that helps build trust that when somebody orders with us, uh, we are not going to mess up that experience, right? You're giving love to this person, and that's an incredibly meaningful act. We carry that act with a lot of weight, and we're going to do absolutely everything we can to create a phenomenal experience for them. So that's kind of explaining to the marketplace how much we care about flowers, putting flowers on the pedestal and putting everything about the flower. Like it's not about us, it's about the flower and creating a remarkable experience that reflects the incredible act that they're doing as giving flowers to the recipient and honoring that. Like that's the way that we communicate. We remind people that flowers are very synonymous with love, and really focusing on how beautiful the flowers are. And I think that because people see that we're so focused on that, it helps build trust. I think there are some other really tactical ways too about going about it. Like I think that Tiffany's is a great example where you can go to Tiffany's, the jewelry store, and you can buy a $300 necklace there, or you can buy a $30,000 necklace there. They're happy to sell you, honestly, both. The interesting part about Tiffany's is that both of those necklaces are being put in the same turquoise box. And when you give that turquoise box to the recipient, it's not necessarily what's inside of the box, but it's the box itself, and specifically the color of the box that evokes the emotion, right? And so putting and infusing little moments of tying your brand and the feeling that you want to create into physically how your product shows up into the world. Um, it's all about the emotion and really putting a little bit more emphasis and focus on that. Operationally, financially, technology wise, like you have to be running really smoothly. But I think a lot of brands they miss on the emotional part, and we'd love to see more of that.
Yes, indeed. That is well said because it applies to every product, every applies to every service. At the end of the day, what is your end customer really saying about the experience from the moment they found you to the moment they purchased, from the moment they acquired your product and everything. So that applies to everything. So thank you for that, Michael. So we're getting pretty much getting ready to wrap all this beautiful conversation we've been having, Michael. Again, thank you so much for sharing all your insights, your journey, inspirational quotes, and everything. What is the one piece of advice you would recommend other business leaders to really hone into? You know, like you mentioned, there's so many departments in it. There's so many, the culture, the values, the mission, the vision. There's so many things. What is one thing that you feel that as a CEO, you need to focus more your attention on?
Yeah, I think maybe I can give three things.
Sure.
I think there's a lot more than
Absolutely.
three, but I'll give the top three that come to mind. Uh, One is create real value in the world.
Mm.
I think that if the if the goal is money and money by itself, that's a tough thing. I think that if you have the reason, like, okay, say you have all the money in the world, what are you going to go and do with it? I think that conversation becomes a lot more interesting. Like using money as the means to either further perpetuate the mission, or even if the answer is like take more vacation or spend more time with the kids, or just adventure in life, like the freedom and opportunity that it can bring, I think is a totally acceptable answer. If you want to go and create a charity with it, great. Like I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, but um, create real value in the world beyond the financials. I think for us at least, that's taken us a lot further than making decisions strictly because financially it makes sense for the company. We tend to have a lot more success with leading through solving problems and creating actual value. And the money comes. The money comes even more than making strict financial decisions. So that's one. The second one is hire people that are smarter than you. Um, I think that one plus one is greater than two, and one plus one is really, really magical. If you put the right team in place, and I think that's helped us get to where we are today, and we're not slowing down anytime soon. And then the third and final one, I think, is I think if these are someone else's words too. I mean, I think that there are other people that have created remarkable work in the world, and we're not shy to recognize the incredible work that other folks have done. So, I pull a lot of inspiration. Kind of what you're saying earlier is like be a follower before a leader. We feel we're both. We follow the other folks that are doing great things, and we're also leading in our own way. Um, but somebody out there, I forget who I should attribute this to, but they said that if people aren't laughing at your dreams, you're not dreaming big enough.
Mm.
So I don't know, give yourself permission to dream big and go and work against those dreams and try to achieve them.
This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for that, Michael. Yes, indeed. Tell us where they can find you. I know you have a website, but are you also on social media, or what are the other platforms they can find French for Florists?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the people have given back to me a lot. If you ever want me as a sounding board, I'm always happy to give back too. You can reach out to me directly. My email is michael@frenchflorist.com. If you want to buy flowers, hopefully we've convinced you to purchase flowers at least um, for one extra holiday. I might even say purchase flowers for no reason at all. If you buy flowers for your partner for Valentine's Day, great. But I would argue if you buy your partner flowers for a random just because no reason at all, it actually might be more meaningful than Valentine's Day. Okay. So if you want to purchase flowers from us, you can go to frenchflorist.com. You can also go to grandma's house down the street and get flowers for free. Um, we think both are very impactful. And then if you're interested in the franchise program, you can always check us out at frenchfloristfranchise.com.
Bravo. I love that franchise closing tip, most importantly,
Yeah,
because a lot
has
of
to
the
stay,
audience,
he
you know,
said.
we have a lot of business leaders and everything, but there's people that get inspired by this channel a lot, Michael, and they're startups. So this could be a great opportunity for them. Well, thank
Yeah,
you so
great.
much for your valuable time. Thank you for accepting to be part of this journey. We're trying to
Thanks
grow
for
our
having me.
community and just, like you mentioned, adding value, giving insight, and most importantly, having wonderful people like yourself here is going to really push forward this channel.
Awesome, Monica. It's a treat to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you again. And remember to subscribe. We will have more wonderful guests at today's Business Leaders. And bye for now.